I'm spending 4 weeks traveling around Europe and my first stop is Rome. So welcome to my Europe travel guide series where I'll be sharing all my tips on how to get around, where to stay, the best spots, the food finds, the hidden gems, everything you need for your trip. Rome wasn't built in a day, but here's how you can see it in two. Let's start with how to get out of the airport. We landed at Leonardo da Vinci International Airport, and if it's your first time arriving, which it was ours, it was really confusing, especially on how to get transport to get into the city where we were staying. For taxis, just follow the official taxi sounds outside arrivals at the destination rank. Rome has a fixed airport fare into the city center, usually around 50 to 55 euros depending on where you're staying. So you know the price up front and make sure you let the driver know that you're aware. Make sure you only jump in the official white taxis and ignore anyone offering you a dodgy ride. If you're booking an Uber, there are dedicated pickup zones outside the airport, so follow the rideshare signs carefully. Just keep in mind, Uber in Rome is usually a premium black car and it ends up costing more than a taxi. And if you want a more budget-friendly option, there's a Leonardo Express train that goes into the city and it's only 30 minutes. No traffic and no stress, you just have to carry your luggage. So after dropping our bags off, the first step that we wanted to do was the Colosseum, and here's a tip that everyone needs. So as you know, Italy charges you for water, but right opposite the Colosseum, there's a free public refill station and it's completely green, very easy to spot, and you can fill up your bottle. It even has normal water plus sparkling water, which kind of feels very elite. We had a simple dinner and then we headed back to our accommodation, which brings me to my next tip: booking the best accommodation. Being walkable distance to the key monuments like the Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum, the Piazza Navona makes your trip really efficient and very stress-free. So my tip to you is location matters more than luxury. Get something that is clean, walkable to central Rome, and means that you can go in and out whenever you please. And if it's slightly outside the city center, make sure you're close to a metro stop so you're not relying on taxis or long walks. Our number one priority in Rome was actually getting this Trevi Fountain photo. So what we did was we woke up at 5:30 a.m. to walk to the Trevi Fountain, where we got there at 6 a.m., roughly an hour before sunrise. And surprisingly, there was already a lot of people there. If you want those clean, crowd-free shots, the key is simple. Get there an hour before sunrise, take your shots immediately. That early window won't last for too long. By 7:30, the sun had risen and it was completely packed, shoulder to shoulder, with 4 brides in the crowd trying to get photos. Also worth noting is that there are rumors that the Trevi Fountain is no longer a free monument, so make sure you check that out, see if it's barricaded before you actually go. Also, another tip in Rome is to be aware of pickpockets, especially at these iconic tourist destinations. Make sure you don't leave your things lying around, don't give your phone to strangers, just be very aware of what your belongings are and what your valuables are. After we finished up at the Trevi Fountain, we ended up just walking to the Spanish Steps. This was around 7:30 a.m. Just as the sun had risen, we climbed the 135 beautiful steps to find a panoramic view of Rome. It's so peaceful there, no crowds here, just golden lights over the rooftops. It's one of the best views in the city. Fun fact, the movie Roman Holiday was actually set here. I really enjoy recreating fun movies. We actually went back to the Trevi Fountain to recreate that Lizzie McGuire Emily in Paris shot as well. It kind of makes me feel like I'm walking through the movie set in real life. So because of the style of travel that we do, which is wake up really early, we actually have so much time in the day to just take things slow, relax, walk around, explore, get some food, see new sites that wasn't on the map. It's really fun, and I really recommend just kind of like a planned, traditional, spontaneous way of traveling. One thing I like to do in each country, especially the European ones, is to take this kind of crossing photo, because you can see and compare the different countries, the different cities, and see basically the different aesthetic. And so we finally arrived at Vatican City. And here are my top tips. First thing, you gotta book everything in advance. Don't just show up on the day unless you're really not sure about what you're going to be doing, because the main attraction is the Vatican Museum and almost always sells out, especially in peak season, which is good weather season. Tickets are timed entry only, so you'll need to look at the specific time slot online before you go. And if you try to walk up, you'll be looking at massive queues for no entry at all potentially. If you want the best experience, I recommend getting one of those early morning slots, the quietest time, the least amount of people. You can actually enjoy the museum instead of getting pushed by crowds. Also, always book directly through the actual Vatican Museum or whichever place you're going to instead of those resellers, because often it might be really increased inflated pricing. Now, despite not actually getting to go into the Vatican Museum, we literally wandered into this random museum and it kind of gave the same aroma / feel of the Vatican, so we were pretty happy with that. One of those spontaneous travel plans. Next up is the best Italian restaurant I've ever eaten at, and this is called Osteria di Fortuna. I already heard that the crowds get absolutely packed here, and this is even despite being a franchise chain with multiple restaurants. Each one is completely packed. Now it opens at 11:30 and we got here at 11, first in line, and we got the best seat in the house. The difference here in this restaurant is that they actually make the pasta right in front of you in kind of like a glass composed place where the chefs are, but you can see them. And it just means that it's so fresh and it's such an authentic feel. The pasta here, the quality is just unbelievable, and I would literally go back to Rome just for this. Watching them hand roll the dough, cut the pasta, and then bringing it out for us, it was just incredible. I think menu-wise, one of our favorites was a rich truffle pasta, carbonara, americana, and the cappella prima. I also really like the desserts here. The panna cotta was unreal, and I would really recommend trying it if you are ever in Rome. Apparently, there's also a chain in Miami. My biggest tip overall is if there's a restaurant you want to go to, get there early or get a reservation. Next up on the tour is Monumento di Varetana Emmanuel II, also known as the Piazza Venezia. And I can't believe this place is actually complimentary for entry. We even asked if this is paid and the guard was like, no, it's free, you can come up, which is super rare for Europe. And it's just magical, those sandstones, the steps, the architecture, we were really breathtaken by it. And one thing I really liked was this area here, kind of like a veranda view of the city. We thought it would be a really great reception venue for anyone who was royal enough to afford it. We stopped by the Roman Forum on the way, and I got a dessert cannoli to end the day. So what a classic. The next day we woke up super early, probably just after sunrise, and on our way there, as I mentioned, our accommodation was always walking distance to the key monuments, and we walked past this park that had an incredible view of the Colosseum in the morning, which was kind of like a hidden gem. Now, this morning, our first goal was to get this photo, the Colosseum solo photos. It was actually a weekday, so there was also less people there, and we were super happy with the fact that we got to just explore the Colosseum on the outside, take photos, relax, and we actually had bought tickets ahead of time to go inside the Colosseum once it opened. So it opened around 10. I think we're going in today at 10:30. So one thing that I didn't plan properly was probably the food and the budget in relation to that, because I got really hungry and ended up going to this classic Roman cafe, having this giant croissant, a hot chocolate that was European style, which FYI I really don't like. I prefer the Australian hot chocolate, but it was a great experience and it was extremely expensive. So I do wish that I did some research beforehand, but all in all, I can always remember this as a cool Roman breakfast. And then we went to this pizza place, which I really always wanted to go to. And again, get there before anyone else does. Get there to be number one, so you're served first and you get the best spot in the house. This is Mareka, and we got the pizza here. The burrata pizza was supposed to be really good and it was so authentic. I was so in love with it. We also got this really cute yoga drink, which was like a watermelon fresh drink, and also got the calamari. For dessert, I got a classic cheesecake, so I was definitely splurging, but no regrets. I love this restaurant. I feel like it's just one of the highlights of Rome because I'm not really into food and I'm not really someone who researches food, but on the day I'm so happy that I got this restaurant and the previous one from yesterday, Osteria di Fortuna. Alright, so now we are making our way to actually go into the Colosseum, and strangely our ticket was unfortunately through some kind of a third party, so we ended up having to go outside, getting the tickets, joining this tour group that brought us inside, and then there was no tour. You kind of just like free for all. And what I recommend is, if it's crowded like it is now, just go to the top. You'll see this is basically where the Gladiator was filmed and also where real gladiators probably performed, and you can kind of like be up here and see the view, and it's really incredible and it's really peaceful and you forget about the crowds. There's also really great crevices where you can take photos uninterrupted, so I thought that was pretty cool because I was not expecting to get cute photos here. A few facts about the Colosseum. It is the largest ancient amphitheater ever built, completed over 2,000 years ago in 80 AD, and it had 50 spectators back in its day for gladiator battles and So in the ticket that we got, we actually got access to the Roman Forum as well. We checked that out, had a chill dinner, and then we went to sleep because the next day we are making our way to the Amalfi Coast from Rome. So stay tuned for my Amalfi Coast vlog as I show you how to get from Rome to the Amalfi Coast on public transport via the train system. It is so fun and I can't wait to show you the tips and tricks on the Amalfi Coast. This is going to follow from Lake Como, Venice, and the Dolomites, which is probably the highlight of Italy itself. Subscribe and stay tuned for my next videos. Enjoy my shorts in the meantime.